All right, here we are in the immediate fiery, or should I say icy aftermath of Game of Thrones, the next to last episode of the season 7. And first off, if you were expecting to see the actual episode here, apologies, but please stick around because you may like what you see. Of course, we are going to spoil the hell out of this episode.
Everybody loves Sarah anyway.
Yeah, everybody loves Sarah. Now, we are going to spoil the hell out of this episode. So, if you haven't seen the episode, then yeah, you probably do need to go. But we're going to talk about every single plot point from the time the credits started rolling at the beginning to the time the credits rolled, and even a little bit after, because we saw that next episode deal. But this is, in my professional opinion, I would say the best episode of the season so far. What do you think? It's pretty damn close. Even if it's not, it has to be at least second.
It's second to me.
You like the battle episode better?
Yeah.
Okay. I am personally, because I hate it, but we lost a dragon tonight. I don't know which one it was. The only one I know is Drogon, and that's the one she rides all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the other two's names are. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me the dragon names. I don't feel like Googling right now. But the episode starts out north of the wall. Picks up pretty much right where we left off. We've got the whole group. I don't know everybody's names, but we're going to go with the Hound. We've got Jorah Mormont. We've got Jon Snow. Then we've got, I'm just going to call him Thormund, the red-haired waddling with a beard who has a thing for Brienne of Tarth. And then we've got Eye Patch Dude with a couple of Brotherhood guys. So pretty much everybody in the Brotherhood except for Eye Patch Dude dies. Mm-hmm. Like pretty much everybody. And then everybody else survives. There was a fan theory going on that... we had several fan theories. One was Jon was going to die. We pretty much all knew that wasn't going to happen, even though I did kind of wonder.
Yeah, I did. I was scared.
There for a minute right there at the end. Yeah. I honestly expected a White Walker Jon Snow to come up out of the water. And, I mean, at that point, it would have been like, well, crap. What else we got? Everybody else survived. But it's gonna be difficult for me, but we're going to go through this a scene at a time. We can't jump right to the good stuff. So, anyway, okay, north of the wall, the guys, they finally...
They sent, what's his name, back to Winterfell to...
No, we're not there yet.
Just kidding.
We're not there yet.
Just kidding. Oops.
Okay, so anyway, it picks up with those guys. Shows everybody. And then it flips over to Winterfell. And we've got this whole episode. We could probably go ahead and cover the whole Sansa versus Arya dynamic that went on this entire episode. And really, really came to a head right there at the very...
Yeah, it sure did.
I'm going to go ahead and say Sansa is scared shitless of Arya now. And is probably going to work with Littlefinger to kill her. I'm almost betting.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in my personal opinion, I really think that it's going to turn around on Littlefinger and somebody's going to end up killing him.
I wish somebody would.
Because they've pretty well figured out by now that...
But see, the thing is, I mean, Sansa knows how sneaky he is, and she still believes everything he says.
She is so gullible.
She's
like, oh, I know you sold me off to a crazed serial rapist, and you did this to me and that to me, and you screwed my mother over, and you were probably behind my dad getting killed, but I'll give you another chance.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's just go ahead and send Brienne and Podrick.
Yeah.
Off. Even though she warned her, I think she maybe took that as like maybe Bran didn't trust her to be alone, which I wouldn't trust her around.
Well, here's the thing. She knows they said something to her along the lines of what would Brienne do if one of you tried to harm the other? And then she immediately sends Brienne away. So I really think that she has maybe not totally conscious plans, but at least subconscious plans to get rid of Arya somehow. And then she goes snooping through Arya's stuff, finds all the... We're kind of skipping ahead on this storyline just because I want to get it out of the way. I'm afraid that if we don't talk about all this stuff right now, that we'll forget about it later. But yeah, she ends up finding all of Arya's faces. Mm-hmm. And, it's like, what are these? And Arya tries to give her the abridged short version. And she has no clue what's going on. And then she basically tells, Sansa, hey, I could kill you.
Yeah, because she had that knife right up there.
Yeah.
And you could tell Sansa was like...
Like, you almost knew it was coming, but I got the weird feeling that if either one of them are going to die, you're not going to expect it when it happens. There was no way she was going to advance with her, with a dagger pointed her way, and then she immediately flips it over and hands it to her.
She definitely looked nervous, though.
Oh, of course! I would be too! Just like scared to death. But at the very least, because I honestly was expecting Arya at that point to completely disavow all family and everything, and something be like, the girl is no one, and then stab her sister in the heart. That was what...
She's the kind of person, she got to toy with somebody for a little bit.
She's like a cat playing with a mouse. Mm-hmm. You hear that, Logan?
Instead, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Logan don't care. It's more of a Jubilee thing. But that's really how that whole deal wrapped up. Littlefinger still is kind of running around behind the scenes, manipulating everything, just manipulating the hell out of Sansa, and that whole deal.
It's my mom again.
That was kind of funny.
She's at the 10:30.
Sarah's mom calls right smack dab in the middle of Game of Thrones.
And she knows I was watching. I told her, I was like, I'm leaving. I've got to go home for Game of Thrones. We'll come over here. But
it's like she calls like right smack dab in the middle of the most intense, just glued eyes to the screen part that there was. And like Sarah's over there talking on the phone and we've got it paused and I'm like... Sarah.
Well, I don't know why she's calling out because it's past her bedtime, so I'm not really sure why she was calling me again.
Mark says, what the fuck? Amazing!
Now, I did like the little story. I love hearing about Ned Stark. And the little story that Arya was telling Sansa right there at the beginning of the episode where she was talking about, she wasn't really supposed to be shooting arrows or anything, but she had that one arrow that was left behind, and she picked up the bow and tried like 20 times, and she finally hit a bullseye, and her dad was proud of her, and that was probably the most entertaining non-action part of the episode, because I love hearing stories about Ned Stark, because he doesn't get brought up enough, and, he really got screwed over, in season 1. Like, he was like a victim of circumstance. He didn't want to be the Hand of the King, but he was made the Hand of the King. And he couldn't really refuse it.
No.
And so he goes to King's Landing and just gets caught up in all this crap. And in the course of trying to do the right thing, ends up getting executed for treason, even though, it was the Lannisters who were totally screwing over everything. But I like hearing...
something, but I don't know what he's talking about.
We called it Viserion, though.
The what?
I don't know.
Maybe the dagger, perhaps? I don't know. Mark will have to be a little more specific. I thought it was pretty funny that Tormund let the Hound know that Brienne was alive and around, and he was like, it's always fucking Brienne. And he basically tells the Hound that... she's going to bear my children one day. We ain't quite got to that point. She don't know she is yet, but...
That's pretty funny.
So, yeah, that's what... Like, Mark just basically said the same thing I said. He said his favorite part was, him talking to Thormund about Brienne. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean that was some of the most entertaining. This episode really showed a lot. Like you had a lot of good stuff happen because even
that was the dragon that died and the king brought back.
What?
Oh, Viserion was the name of the dragon
Okay.
that died. Spoiler alert.
We called it, he says.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody pretty well knew that one of the dragons were going to die eventually. I pretty well knew that the one that Daenerys was riding, I honest to God thought that he was going to throw the spear
I thought
at
he
the one
was
she was
too.
on.
I was like, oh my god.
Because, that's like her favorite, and that would have been even more heartbroken. And I'm sorry, Daenerys, anybody could say anything they want, but that one dragon is the one she rides everywhere. That is her favorite. And that would have been the biggest kick in the nuts to Daenerys Targaryen if he would have thrown that spear at that dragon.
Whatever,
but still,
she loves them all equally.
We've been talking about.
Oh, and how about Jorah almost falling off the dragon too? God.
I mean, because that was one of the big predictions that everybody was making, that Jorah was going to die during this expedition.
He made it.
That either he was going to die or he was going to be one of the ones killed and brought back as a White Walker, and he was the White Walker they were going to take to King's Landing. That was what so many people were just on board. But I will say that aside from the obvious, a dragon getting killed this episode, everybody's fan theories have been completely garbage. Nobody has called anything except, and we knew
the ice dragon part.
Yeah, there was no way that a dragon wasn't going to die. So I can't really give people credit for that one, even us. Tyrion and Daenerys are, we're talking, at, God, what's the name of the island?
Dragonstone.
The look on Jorah's face when Jon came out of the woods. Fuck, back in the friend zone.
Yes.
Oh, that elusive friend zone. That was, I see the friend zone as like, old Valyrian. Where like he took Tyrion, Jorah took Tyrion, and not like it's all in ruins and there's like steam coming up out of the ocean and there's like, what do they call stone men crawling around all over the walls. That is the physical interpretation of the friend zone. Jorah's been there for a while. He finally got the dragon scale peeled off, and he's back and better than ever, and then Jon Snow pops up. Which, speaking of, she has seen Jon Snow's scars now. So,
She sees Jon Snow in a different light now.
Yeah, I honestly expected Jon to, wake up. We're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I expected Jon to, wake up and she'd just be sitting there with her legs spread. Here, it's yours now! She's like, I bent both knees.
Stop it!
Why did you do that when I had something in my mouth?
Oh my god.
Because it would have went everywhere. It would have went on your computer.
That wouldn't have been good?
No!
But it would have made for some excellent programming.
Yeah. Oh, here's Sarah's splatter everywhere.
Yeah, that's excellent programming.
There just about was in the little ship there with Jon and Daenerys. Little splatter everywhere. But instead, Tyrion is talking to Daenerys about...
Clap for Lonnie.
Tyrion was talking to Daenerys before all this about a successor, and she basically took offense to that and almost acts like she may not be trusting Tyrion at this point because he's wanting to plan a succession, thinking that, hey, maybe you're planning to kill me or something. And she's getting to the point where she doesn't trust anybody, but I really think, she lost a dragon. There was one of two ways we were going to go about this. Either A, Jon Snow and all those people that went down there were going to die, or she was going to lose a dragon. or two. One of those ways was going to happen. And, like I said, it was damned if you do, damned if you don't. So...
But that was just crazy because for a few minutes they were just sitting there in the middle of all those White Walkers like they were sitting ducks. Like
Yes, we are getting there. First off, though...
I don't know where you're at.
I know, I'm kind of jumping around. I'm trying to like maintain order and jump around at the same time, and Sarah's getting lost in the process. My apologies, Sarah. Giant bears and monsters running around in the north.
Ben Jenner turning was a surprise.
Now, I actually thought that, to begin with, those things were White Walkers, like White Walker animals. But they weren't. They were just big, massive bear cats or saber-toothed were-lions.
I don't think that's never been seen before.
I ain't never seen anything like that. But it's kind of like dire wolves. You know, they've never been seen south of the wall. There's no telling what kinds of weird crap.
Dire wolves on steroids.
Yeah, but this was like the cat bear version of the dire wolf. It was like a dire cat bear is what those things were. I guess while we're talking about it, be sure to hit that subscribe button and enter to win our September 2017 Loot Crate. Follow the instructions up there, scrolling along the top of the screen.
Introduced yourselves or anything.
Did we not?
No.
Holy crap.
Jumped right
Well,
in.
anyway, we are at the 16 minute mark. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Single Sarah.
Yeah. Wow.
We're
And
so
we're Untitled
low
Network,
here.
brought to you by Infinity Flux. You can tell, Untitled Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux. Over there. So,
Anyway. Oh, and Mark says I'm Mark.
Silent Mark tonight. He's in the chat. But major episode tonight. We actually had some dude running around that got killed by that thing. We had a handful of like nameless deaths. Even if there are people
I
that
don't remember.
you had never seen them before, or you just had no clue who they were. It's like you've got your different levels. You've got like Jon Snow and like main character, been around since the beginning, and then you've got like your middle people like Jorah, and then you've got Thormund, and then you've got like
The Hound.
Mark said red shirts.
the Hound. Yeah, you've got like the Hound, and then you've got like your lower middle people, who I guess would be like the Brotherhood guys, and then you've got like no-name guys. And the no names and the lower middles really took
Four
a beating.
red shirts went with them to the North Wall.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm surprised there wasn't some kind of meme floating around. There probably was, but I missed it. So anyway, we already covered the Littlefinger, Sansa, Brienne thing. But then we end up where the group who went north of the wall, led by Jon, ends up fighting a small group of, about a dozen White Walkers. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, why are these White Walkers out there by themselves? Probably a scouting party or something, just walking around. And so Jon apparently kills one of them, and it causes like all but one to fall apart and collapse. Mm-hmm. And so they've kind of sort of confirmed what we've long kind of thought but didn't really know, is where if you kill a White Walker
with the Valerian,
it's like you have a totem pole, and like the higher they are on the ranking, like if you kill the one up here, all the ones from here down die.
So that must have been the leader of
that leader of that group. And I'm almost betting money that if you kill the Night King, that's it.
It'll kill everybody.
Mark says, so Kenzie told me something. Do you know what they made the fur cloaks out of?
Yeah, they made them out of IKEA rugs. There was an article going around about that earlier this week where the people at Game of Thrones actually took like cheap IKEA rugs. I guess they look good. And they cut a pattern out in them. And they put them, that's the Northerners.
IKEA's good for something. Shit. What the hell?
But yeah, you can actually go online. I've seen several articles about it. I don't know why I've not shared it on the page. But you can actually go online and they show you the rug to buy. And they show you the pattern to cut out to create your own, Night's Watch or Winterfell Northerner Start cape. And it looks all nice and fluffy and everything, so. What?
Anyway.
What are you laughing about?
I didn't. What?
Because
there is some kind of rug joke in there somewhere, but I'm not making it. So anyway, they keep that White Walker, the one White Walker, and they're like, oh, this is the one that we're going to take back to King's Landing.
And boy, was he a screamer.
And that son of a gun was loud, a screamer.
You the one who mentioned a rug joke first. I'm just saying. Cheap rugs. You don't know nothing about cheap rugs, so. Do not touch the rug joke.
Oh, so yes, that
Sarah.
thing screams, and immediately we have something like somewhere in the neighborhood of 75,000 White Walkers descend, and they go running through they're running hard, and they run out across this lake, and they notice, holy crap, the lake is not supporting our weight. It's starting to crack, the frozen lake. And so they just, once they realize all these White Walkers are after them, they haul ass onto like this little kind of island in the middle of this lake. And they stand there, and the White Walkers surround them, like 2-3 freaking layers all up around the mountains. And at that point, you're like, holy crap, somebody major is about to die. Like, somebody's got to die. And you knew the only way they were going to make it is if Daenerys showed up on a dragon. Mm-hmm. Now, why she brought all the dragons, that's a plot hole in itself.
Yeah,
Son of a gun.
If she just brought that one... Then...
If she would have just brought that one, you never know. That might have got hit and they'd have been stuck without a dragon.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Like, you think she knew? That's the first time. That's the first time so far that she has brought more than one dragon. Mm-hmm. The other two always stay behind. And I kind of figured that once all 3 dragons took off, and Tyrion tried his best to talk her out of going. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, the last time I did nothing, we ended up screwed.
Which is true.
She has a good point. And Tyrion, while wise as he may be, and is really one of my favorite characters, he is not perfect.
No, he's not.
Nobody's perfect in the Game of Thrones.
I think he means well, though.
He
obviously.
does. And he's probably one of, if not the smartest characters, and probably one of the best strategists in the entire show.
There's so many times he could have died.
Yeah. I mean, he is responsible for the win at the Battle of Blackwater with the green flames and stuff. Mm-hmm. He was responsible for that.
The third dragon is.
Third dragon. You know what the name of the third dragon is?
I mean, she knows it. He knows the name. He wants to know where it's at.
Oh. That's a good question.
It's there. It has to be there.
I mean, it has to be there, but we never.
Yeah, they didn't show it, but he made it out with them. I'm almost positive that. I'm almost positive that the one he's talking about was probably the one flying over the ocean at the end, and Drogon's probably back on the other side of the wall or something, hanging out, waiting for her to walk up and get on his back. True. I'm almost betting that's the case. He doesn't seem like he goes far from her, especially at this particular point where we lost his brother basically.
So I wonder how the dragons, because at some point they're probably going to see each other. I just wonder how their reaction's going to be.
What do you like, the dragons?
Fire, ice, yeah. I'm just wondering how that's going to be.
Which one's going to be more powerful, I wonder?
Yeah. I was wondering what their reactions to each other are going to be and how would that work?
Now here's the thing. They have shown, everybody pretty well knows, I think, they knew whenever they killed that individual north of the wall tonight, they knew he was going to come back as a White Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Are they expecting this dragon to come back? Do you think they are? Do you think they know? Is it going to be a surprise when this big fiery or big icy, resurrected zombie dragon comes flying in? Is that going to be a huge surprise, or are they expecting this to happen? As just holy crap, ice dragon on the way?
Kenzie's saying that Danny's going to have to kill Viserion.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even going to argue with it. That'll suck. I don't think that Daenerys is going to be leading this when it's all over. I think they're building her and Jon up so much. I think we're going to have somebody completely different ruling. I think that and I've heard some fan theories that once things really start getting real, Daenerys will abandon her leadership role for a sense of personal responsibility. And Jon is not a leader. He's what they call like a situational leader. He jumps into that.
Lead if he has to.
He's not king material, and I really don't think Daenerys is king or queen material. I think they maybe lead the North or something like that. But I don't think that Westeros as it is going to exist after this is all over. I think it'll be more of a territorial thing where you'll have wardens of the North and the West, and I don't think you'll have, if you do have an overall king, I think it's going to be somebody that we've probably not even looked at. Maybe Jaime Lannister, if some of the fan theories are to be believed.
I wonder how that would go.
I don't know, but people are talking about, people are talking about Jaime Lannister possibly killing Cersei.
I wish he would.
And it wouldn't surprise me if we kind of had that kind of sort of Romeo and Juliet moment where he kills Cersei and just distraught with grief that his one true love is dead, stabs himself in the heart or something. That's just, I don't even know where the hell I was going with that. But anyway, whenever everything goes to crap north of the wall, they send old dude, the rightful heir, I guess, to Robert Baratheon.
I
How's the guy's
remember
name?
His name.
Gendry?
Gendry, yes.
Yeah. They send him to go to Eastwatch, send a raven, tell Daenerys that and everybody that we need help. We're stuck. And he makes it. Barely makes it. And that's the thing. Like, whenever people go to Eastwatch, by God, they're almost dead by the time they get there. It happened twice this episode. And I think it's happened before. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Jon Snow has, ridden horseback up there nearly dead in an earlier season. The Night King spent the entire time watching them from the hill. And you knew he was going to come into play somehow, some way. Had no clue how. But God. I'm not going to repeat that, Mark. That's about Goofy.
What?
Okay, whatever. He basically said, "Run, Gendry, run," in his Jenny voice.
Run! Run, Gendry, run!
That was great.
I don't think Jon's from the north. He's not southern. We see the little exchange between Brienne and Sansa. Sansa sends her away, and I think that's one of those little minor things that's probably going to end up playing out really big towards the end. What do you think the odds are of Brienne coming back without being told to and killing one of the Stark sisters who is about to kill the other one?
Lord.
Like, you think Sansa is getting ready to kill Arya, and then suddenly she gets a knife through the back by Brienne.
Oh my gosh. Well, who is Brienne more loyal to?
Or maybe Brienne kills Littlefinger.
I'm hoping Brienne kills Littlefinger.
Mom always said life is like an icy wall. You never know when your balls freeze.
Wow. Interesting. All right.
I mean, did they really have to go to King's Landing? Did she really have to go? I mean, could they just have ignored the message? Because, I mean, I don't think it was a good idea anyway.
For them to go to King's Landing like they're saying they are next episode?
Yeah, well, I mean, just like Brienne and Podrick going right now. I didn't think that was a very good idea just to send them to.
Please let Brienne kill Baelish.
Yes, 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 yes.
I don't think so. I mean, I threw that out there, but I don't think so. I really don't.
I will love it if that happens. I'll just love it when he's dead. Like, it makes me wish I had, like, a beer or a wine so I could celebrate for when he's dead.
You're ridiculous right now.
I don't like him.
Well, maybe
funny,
next
though.
season, maybe next episode, we'll have like some good spirits or something. I think we have some apple up there. Okay, so anyway, we've already covered that they get the note and Daenerys flies north. All three dragons. Which, when all three dragons went, and he's trying to talk her out of it, you knew. I hated it, but I knew we were going to lose the dragon.
But
Like
there
was
end with Littlefinger or Sam on the throne.
Oh, God.
There's no way.
Please don't get Littlefinger.
I'm going to go ahead and, like, I'm going to have to sit down and make, like, a list. I'm going to have to make a list over the next, like, couple of days where I, like, put a name and then, like, the UNN odds of sitting on the Iron Throne. I'll go ahead and tell you, Sansa or Arya sitting on the Iron Throne, I will give better odds than Baelish or Sam. I don't think they're right down at the bottom of likely candidates, but they're nowhere in the top 4 or 5. I would say Baelish is a little bit higher than Sam, but I really, because everybody's expecting Baelish to make a bid for the throne. I don't think it'll work out. I think anybody who has said that they want the Iron Throne, I don't think any of them so far will be on it. Mm-mm. It's going to be somebody completely out in left field that we don't expect. A UNN Iron Throne pool. We're getting there, I'm sure. Anyway, the Hound indirectly is responsible for the death of the dragon.
Yes.
Because he thought, he gets it in his head while they're stuck out there in the middle of this island. Hey, I'm going to pick up this rock and I'm going to throw it at that damn White Walker. Well, he does, and it busts a piece of the White Walker's skeleton off, like knocks its jaw off.
Like, okay, this seems like a good idea.
Yeah, and then he picks up another rock, throws it, doesn't quite make it, but the rock goes skidding across. Well, suddenly the skeleton White Walker, I guess, thinks, hey, that rock isn't really heavy. Neither am I, because I'm just a skeleton. And so it starts walking across. Well, when it does, all the other ones like that go walking across. And next thing you know, they've got enough to give them a run for their money.
Good job, Hound.
Well, he says that, it equals Sam because it fits the theory that the series is being told by Sam. And I mean, he is writing it, but I think Sam would be more of a Hand of the King type. He may be like maybe the new master or something.
That's true.
I could see that. Him being promoted to somebody's spiritual advisor or whatever the hell it is. The people who keep all the info, because he's already a fairly smart fella. But yeah, the Hound screwed it up, and that's what starts. But Thormund almost died.
I was screaming.
They were putting so much into that scene. I honestly thought, holy crap, this is how he goes out.
I was like, you have to go back to Brienne.
I'm not sure we could blame the Hound. The Night King would have killed the dragon either way.
Yeah, but I like having somebody to blame. That's just how I roll.
Well, I mean, they might have not even come over there if he hadn't thrown the rock.
But eventually somebody would have had to come save their asses.
Yeah.
So.
They were basically sitting ducks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so there was going to have to be a sacrifice made to save them. Somehow or the other. They were not going to get out of that unscathed. But yeah, the Hound ended up saving Thormund. Because, I guess that was like his retribution for almost getting Thormund killed. And everybody else killed. And the dragon killed. And so anyway, like if you look at my list here, I make notes as things happen. And so when the dragons swoop in, I wrote in real big letters, dragons. And then about 45 seconds later, I wrote the word lost next to dragons. So I was like, well, awesome. As the dragons are flying around, Daenerys lands with her dragon to pick up everybody that needs picked up. While they're doing that, the other two dragons are flying around breathing fire on all the White Walkers. And the Night King, standing there, one of his second in command, I guess, walks over with this long-ass ice dagger. And apparently the Night King has some very super strength. Because he threw that dagger like a freaking quarter of a mile up into the air with enough force to go right through a dragon. And, like, he had the ability of that freaking giant crossbow, is what he had. And so it goes right through the dragon. Blood goes everywhere. You knew the dragon was dead at that point. Dragon crashes through the ice of the lake.
That was hard to watch.
That was the closest I've gotten to crying in this entire series. I've not gotten to that point yet, but I was right on the freaking verge. Because if there's one thing I can't stand, is a dragon getting killed. It's like, you can kill Ned Stark, you can kill whoever all day long. But, the Red Wedding, whatever. Dragon gets killed, gonna have to take a breather. But,
Speaking of magic helmet, oh my god.
Do what?
He said in his Elmer Fudd voice, Spear and Magic Helmet.
I'll use my magic helmet.
Anyway, during the battle, they retreat on, a couple of dragons. You were talking about Jorah almost fell off of the other dragon. And, that was kind of a last-minute tease right there. But everybody makes it out except for Jon. And you're like, holy crap, this is how Jon goes out. For a brief second, I thought this is it. Like, how the hell
I
did
didn't think he was going to come up for a minute.
But then his uncle shows up, who we've not seen since he helped Bran and his little party who was north of the wall. God, what, 2-3 seasons ago?
Yeah,
It's been a while. But he ends up showing up, rescuing Jon, gives him a horse, and then goes out in a blaze of glory with this flaming mace.
But, I want to know, okay, where did he come from? And, how does he know?
He's probably following him the whole time.
There's something up with him, and I can't remember exactly what his condition was. If, maybe he had, some kind of werewolf thing or some kind of...
Did anyone see the eye on Longclaw open?
I did not notice the eye on the sword open up.
Really?
May have to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
Are we talking about when it was laying there on the ice when he pops up out of the water? Because that's about the only time they gave a close enough view of it to where you could see something like that. I did not see that. If that actually happened, then that would be really neat.
Oh, he's going to look at it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue talking while I fast forward through all this, but
Or whatever.
yeah. I mean, I would like to say that we're going to quit talk or going to keep talking, but I guess not. I'm actually gonna just go back and look at
Mark's
that.
like, yes.
Oh.
When his hand comes up, its eyes open.
I'm definitely
Okay.
gonna have to look at that.
You gotta fast forward it.
This is it right here. But anyway, holy crap! I mean, let's see here.
And Benjamin in the books was called Cold Hands, and he was.
Oh!
Holy crap! It did. Its freaking eyes open.
Do it again.
Do it again, Sarah said.
Yeah, the freaking thing's eyes really did open. Like, we just looked at the scene, like we've got it on silent in the background. The sword's eyes seriously freaking open right as he comes out of the water. How messed up is that?
Oh, wow.
Wow. So, why did it do that?
Oh, are we sure the eyes?
Are
Are we sure the eyes opened? Are we sure that wasn't just like a reflection?
Shut up!
Like-
It was open.
Oh God, that is weird. I mean, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, give Kinsey credit for that. That was a heck of a catch there. Which really means there's some magic behind that sword, other than just the Valyrian steel that it's made out of. And it also means that yes, Jon is the rightful carrier of that sword.
And
Because
he tried to give it to Jorah.
he tried to give it to Jorah because Jorah's father gave it to Jon. He tried to give it to Jorah. Jorah's like, nope, my father gave it to you. I brought all kinds of disgrace to my family. It is rightfully yours to give to your offspring now.
Okay, how did he bring disgrace to his family? I've forgotten all that happened.
Well,
All
he left and went to Daenerys over in the Freelands
okay.
and was like her advisor, and then he was basically a spy because he was sending
I
stuff
remember,
back to King's Landing.
And that's when she got mad and when she found out.
He was actually a spy for Varys, the bald eunuch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was actually working for him, and then he was given that at the King's Council. Because it was funny because Robert Baratheon was like dying to go kill Daenerys, especially when he found out that she was pregnant.
So that scene made me like Jorah more. He was a slaver. No.
What?
Okay, he was a slaver. I don't know. I don't remember. This is one of those instances where it probably wouldn't hurt for us to maybe go back and re-watch the first episodes. Like, that would actually kind of be a neat thing.
A slaver in Westeros caught and fled. That's why Ned was hunting him.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you learn something new every day because it's been a good 3 years since I've seen season 1. So it's one of those deals where if you go back and rewatch the early episodes, I bet you would catch all kinds of crap that you don't know now, because you're going to be looking for certain characters who are still alive.
Like all these characters are like intertwined with each other in like different situations. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, it's hard to keep up with sometimes. Very
much. I mean, yeah. It's very hard. I mean, there's actually whole videos making jokes about it. Like, I think there was like an honest trailer for season 3 that they did that.
Mark says I has good memory.
It was like starring the following characters, and it was like they named off like 24 characters who had either died or just faded into nothing and you never saw again. They're like, oh, I don't remember that guy or that guy or that guy or that guy, and they just go on and on. I'm like, holy crap. But anyway, after Jon returns, and they actually peel his frozen clothes off of him.
Yeah.
Did you hear his clothes like crack and stuff?
Yeah, that was crazy.
As they came off, that was pretty cool. But she ends up seeing, because he's been kind of trying to play his cards close to his chest and not wanting Daenerys to know that he did die and was resurrected. And she sees him with his shirt off and sees like a huge wound here, knife wound here, knife wound there. We got like zombie John laying there. And, suddenly she's like, oh, I want you to father my children, basically.
Yeah, they had a moment there. I was like...
I honestly thought that was the time that we were going to see, the aunt, nephew.
Well, I don't know about that. I was thinking maybe like a,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, my first thought was, if you're laying there half dead, usually the best pick-me-up is a little...
Usually.
Good enough to wake the dead.
Close to his gutted chest.
Yeah. But, he expresses his condolences to Daenerys, lost a dragon, and then...
I love her telling him, you understand I can't have children.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Can she have children? Or is that just her saying she doesn't want to?
I thought it was part of like the little curse she got.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's part of the curse that she got.
That witch that...
That's what I was thinking. It was part of the curse.
That was part of the curse she got. She can't have kids.
Never again.
Never.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's broken somehow at some point.
I doubt it. But okay.
That would be a beautiful baby, though. What?
She makes a fair point.
It would.
I guess.
Between the both of them, yes.
Beautiful babies. Ugh.
But then, I don't know, sometimes
Incest, but
inbred,
they
yeah,
don't.
comes out with deformity.
I mean, yeah, they're... No, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. The Targaryen dynasty, over the generations, married within their family because they wanted to keep the bloodline pure.
Yeah.
They didn't want anybody, so aunts were marrying uncles and cousins were marrying cousins.
We
and
were kidding, huh?
brothers
We
and
know
sisters. I mean, it's pretty messed up, but that was like a Targaryen thing, and a lot of people contribute that to the Mad King, because he was so mentally imbalanced. But that was basically what generations of inbreeding did, is basically drove the lineage, whatever, just crazy. Finally, at the end, well, towards the end, we do have the Jon Daenerys visit. We've covered that. We've got the Sansa Arya confrontation that really, I thought was
But you missed a part.
that. Kenzie said the curse will be broken by true incest. Love's kiss.
You missed the...
True incest. Love's
What did I miss?
Oh. Where she said that she will help him fight the White Walkers.
Oh, yeah.
Where she admitted to him that she would.
Not only that, but I forgot to write this down. Jon Snow told her that if he could get up, that he would bend the knee to Daenerys.
Oh, yeah.
So he accepts her as queen.
Yep.
He is no longer... Of course, I think at this point, she's lost a dragon. Jon Snow's laying here. I think she's probably fallen in love with him at this point.
Yes.
And he's laying there almost dead, but he's recovering, and he tells her, I'll gladly bend the knee to you. You're the queen. And at this point, that's like secondary. Like, she doesn't even care at this point. Whatever. Like, she might not even hold him to it later.
Oh, she probably will.
But they have suffered a great loss. And they have come together, and now next on the agenda is to show Cersei, hey, this is what we need to do. And Cersei has not seen all this with her own eyes. She's just taking the word of, for all she knows, two people who want the Iron Throne. Mm-hmm. So I'm really curious to see how the next episode's going to go. The season finale. But that's not all, because at the very, very, very end of this episode, we see the White Walkers in lines with giant chains. They pull the dead dragon out of the water. Night King walks up, touches the dead dragon, and the dragon's eyes open, and it's that lovely shade of blue.
It's going to be interesting next week. And then a longer episode, too, you said?
Next episode is going to be something like 80 minutes.
80 minutes, okay.
This one was 70. So whenever we do our next show, it'll start somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10:20 p.m. I'm actually very surprised that we haven't had a lot of people on here tonight.
We have not. Well, probably because everybody already watched it.
That's true.
There's a lot of people who already watched
That
it.
is another thing, and I won't allow me to bitch a little bit. HBO screwed up, or some provider or somebody screwed up and leaked this episode somewhere in the neighborhood of what, Wednesday or Thursday.
Something like that, yeah.
There were a lot of people who took it upon themselves to watch this episode early. That's their business, but one of the main things that I make it a point to do here as part of like this channel, part of the brand and everything, is whenever something leaks, and we're talking whether it be a Game of Thrones episode that leaked 2 or 3 days early, or one of those cell phone shot trailers at Comic-Con that they don't want released to the public, I will not share that garbage on the page or on the channel, because that wasn't how it was meant to be seen.
No.
The episode that leaked Thursday was, I already heard it was like crappy quality. It was like standard def. The stereo sound didn't work. It was like some other country's leak. It was not, the leak was not in the way that Game of Thrones was meant to be watched.
Mm-mm.
And, you know, I've seen all kinds of things that are leaked, half done, or whatever, and that's something that you're not going to see us do. You're not going to see us leak, you know, half-done trailers or, you know, shows 48 hours before they're supposed to air. We're going to watch it with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, you know, I don't agree with putting those spoilers out.
That's one thing that really pisses me off. Spoilers.
Yeah, especially when you have
Really?
people who see this episode like on Friday night and then, you know, put out like detailed reviews and spoilers.
And there's like plenty of them in the suggestion list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why we don't have a lot of viewers tonight, is because everybody's already watched it.
Yeah.
And done reviews on it. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 videos.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there looking at that, and I guess, you know, you have to mention it. Like we're sitting there looking at it right now. Yeah, you've already got people with, you know, 228 views, 18,000 views. I mean, you've got people on here left and right that have already reviewed this episode before this episode ever aired.
Why would you want to try and run it for other people? I mean, really.
No, and I'll say, we may take a hit tonight on viewers or whatever, but we still have that integrity.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity, Sarah's integrity, Amber's integrity, the integrity of Untitled Nerd Network, so that you can see a review 24 hours early. It just ain't going to fucking happen. So, you know, if you want to, that's your thing, but I consider us better than that. So, now that I'm climbing down off of my high horse.
Fine. That was totally fine with me. Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, I would much rather enjoy Game of Thrones the way Game of Thrones was meant to be enjoyed.
Yes.
9 o'clock
exactly.
on a Sunday night with the rest of the country, and well.
Anyway.
Yep, but we will be back for the season finale next week, same time, kind of same time. We'll be about 10 minutes later. Same place. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing UNN Live with Lindsay Thursday night. Myself and Mark are going to be recording some comic book, TV, whatever malarkey Thursday, and we'll be publishing that over the next couple of weeks. Pre-recorded videos. Also, be sure if you... Huh?
We're doing Rick and Morty tomorrow.
We will be doing Rick and Morty tomorrow. Myself and Amber will probably be doing that immediately before our video game live stream. If we do a live stream. A lot of times we do Rick and Morty. We don't do a live stream.
A lot of times, yeah.
But we will live stream the review of Rick and Morty tomorrow night, somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 p.m. Eastern. God willing, with the eclipse tomorrow. God only knows. People are going to be freaking out over that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I appreciate everybody coming on. At least after the episode aired instead of before. And that's just pretty much it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Anything you want to add, Sarah? I know you maybe have a closing thought.
No, you said everything about the spoiler and leaking perfectly, so I'm good. I don't like it when people try to spoil crap. It pisses me off.
I mean, that's why you quit watching Walking Dead for so long.
Yes, that is why I stopped watching Walking Dead, which I'm going to have to catch up because we're going to have the spoiling day back on. Yay. But I stopped watching for a while because some butthole, I'll be nice, posted it like they didn't even put like it was a spoiler alert. And they're like, well, why are you on Facebook after the episode aired and you're sitting here looking? It's like, well, not to be on Facebook after. I was like, it doesn't matter. Don't be an asshole.
It's polite to put spoilers.
I mean, really.
Warning.
Don't be an asshole.
Oh, and from what I understood, a lot of the videos going around, the actual video of this episode that was leaked and was floating around on Facebook, mm-hmm. I didn't see it. Thank God. But according to everywhere I saw, the thumbnail was a spoiler in itself. So you couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
If you saw it, it was. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was maybe the dragon getting killed.
I heard it was the dragon with the blue eye.
Okay. Definitely screw the leaks. Yeah. I mean, really.
Well, no, there was also one big page. I don't know if it was Nerdist or somebody else that was, they were posting something about, the leak. And I actually saw them comment in one of the people's comments to say not to spoil it for the rest of the people. Like, they actually put in, I want to say it was Nerdist or it was one of the other bigger pages. I cannot remember who it was for the life of me.
Reddit. Stay away from Reddit. Yeah.
I don't get on Reddit anyway. But, that's like the dark corner of the internet where I dare not tread.
Pretty much.
But anyway, that's it for tonight. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. And we'll be back on with Rick and Morty tomorrow night. We will be doing, like I said, UNN Live. And next week, we'll be doing the season finale. And a big announcement, I could probably go ahead and say that beginning on Sunday nights, after next week, we're going to start interviewing episode by episode of Westworld on Sunday nights. And we're going to be gearing up for the big, premiere next spring. It's going to be a little while. But we're going to do that. We're going to try to do some Sunday night stuff every night, because that seems to be kind of like the fun thing to do. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, that's it. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and call it in the evening. Hell, I got to get up in like 5 hours. So, anyway, everybody have a good night. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Single Sarah.
And we got Amber over there running the chat. She didn't really have a whole lot to do tonight. Damn leakers. But anyway, we're Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux. This has been the Game of Thrones recap, Season 7, Episode 6, titled Beyond the Wall. We'll see everybody next week.